What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to have a little bit of a chat about a bunch of new One Piece TCG cards that have been revealed that are very, very exciting. We've got a stage that might be actually full-on busted, and we've got ourselves a new super rare. So let's start there. As always, I did translations for these myself, but I did check with the lovely Russ Marrow on Twitter and the lovely Orange Samurai D on Facebook, who checked with the lovely folks over on the Discord. So starting off then, we've got Sugar. 2 cost, 0 power, counter plus 1,000. It's a super rare with literally no power. There has to be something worth getting excited about. And there is. Because on your opponent's turn, once per turn, you can use this skill. When your opponent plays a character card, if your leader is got the Don Quixote Pirates type, rest up to one of your opponent's characters and then rest this card. So that's kind of why it doesn't really have any power. You shouldn't be attacking with this. This is not something with which you should be attacking. What you really should be doing here is basically leaving this, so every time your opponent plays a character, you rest an opponent's character. And that's actually going to be amazing. Now, unlike some games, you can attack kind of as you like in One Piece. You've got your main phase where you can do basically whatever you like. So, according to the official rules, you can play a card, attach Don cards, use a card effect, and attack. And you can do this as often as you like, however much you like, until you get to the end phase. You may perform the actions in any order and as many times as you wish. Now, I know we don't really need to go through basic rules very often here, we know what we're doing, but this is really important for this particular card. Because what this basically does is put your opponent in a really awkward position. Because if they really want to attack with a character, they have to attack with that character before they play any character cards. Because against a decent player, what's going to happen is they're going to play a character card and you are going to go, oh yeah, I'm going to rest that one I know you want to attack with. And that's kind of the point. That's what this card does so beautifully. It basically means that until your opponent has actually activated this skill, they can't play any characters until they've kind of attacked with what they want. It means your opponent has to sequence basically perfectly here. Because if they make the mistake of playing a character before they've attacked with someone they want to attack with, they played a character, you rest the one they want to attack with, rest yourself, you're good. And remember, you can have more than one Sugar on the field, and this just makes your opponent have to really think about things. It puts them in an incredibly awkward situation. And I absolutely love this card. You're going to catch a lot of people, and sometimes they kind of need to play a character before they attack, and this means that you get to turn off one of their attackers. I absolutely love it. Yes, there are going to be turns where your opponent doesn't play a character and this essentially does nothing. Fine, don't care. Because you still get to frustrate your opponent a lot. Now there's a second skill here. On play, rest one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So the deal here is kind of simple. You just rest. I mean, it's on your turn. Remember, they refresh at the start of your opponent's turn. So really, you're going to be either resting a character to allow you to attack it, or you're going to be resting a blocker to stop them blocking. Either way, that's good, incidentally. I am absolutely fine with that. I like this card. I really, really like this card. Sure, it's very weak, but it's cheap. You get to rest a character when you play it, and then it basically sits there on your field, and your opponent cannot play a character card without losing one of their characters essentially for the turn, and that is absolutely brilliant. So that's a card I'm a big fan of, but I also promised you a busted stage card, and I think I can deliver on that. There is a stage card that when I translated it, it's one of those, sometimes you translate a card, right? And you go, hang on a second, that seems a bit too good. I need to go and check this with somebody. So I did. And I went and checked it, and it turned out I had translated it correctly, and it is brilliant. So what we've got here is Corrida Coliseum. If your leader has the Dressrosa type, your characters that have the Dressrosa type can attack characters on the turn they are played. So this is a really important distinction. So this basically has rush, but only when you attack characters. This does not give you rush in a way that allows you to attack a leader and, go after life and all of that. This is purely for getting rid of characters. But I still think this is absolutely phenomenal. Because basically, while this stage is out, and that we do have stage removal in the game. Stage removal does exist, but it's kind of terrible. Like we talked about this before, we have very little in terms of anything that lets us go after a stage. Like we've got the event card, Yasakani's Sacred Jewel, but that is only obviously for black decks, and you only actually get to get rid of a stage as a trigger. So even with that card, you've got to hope it comes out as a trigger or else it doesn't work. And then we've got Tempest Kick Sky Slicer, which again is only for black. And to be fair, you can go after a stage with this card. This is the one card that actually lets you go after a stage. So when I say we don't have much in terms of going after stages, I mean we really don't have much in terms of going after stages. The vast majority of the time, when you play a stage, it's sticking there on the field. So now, basically for the entire game, your opponent has to prepare like you can be playing characters and attacking characters straight away. And that makes the game very different. Sure, they know their life is safe, but anytime they've got a rested character, they have to basically know that you can go after this in a heartbeat, and that's just absolutely brilliant. I love this. No, it is not gonna let you go after life, so it is not rush in that regard. But come on, ladies and gentlemen, this is absolutely ridiculous. As a side note, in terms of leaders that are Dressrosa, up to and including Op-04, the only one we've got is Rebecca. This is a card for Rebecca. It is only a card for Rebecca. That is all it actually works for. There literally is no other leader in the game right now that actually fits this. There is no other leader that is a Dressrosa type that can take advantage of this. So, and presumably at some point in the future we will get them, but please bear in mind for the moment, this is a stage that only works with Rebecca. So if you want to be playing this, that's fine, but you will need to play Rebecca or else this doesn't do anything. I don't incidentally think that's a particularly bad thing. This just makes Rebecca way better. And the idea that anytime your opponent has got a rested character, you can just instantly play a character and then attack straight away and get rid of it, that's a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. That's a very good thing indeed. But hey, how about we have a chat about the biggest trigger character we've seen so far? Now, what we've got here is O-Lin, a 7-cost, 7,000 power character with no counter. Okay. Now, this one took me a bit to translate, but I did finally get the main thing here. The main thing here is also treat this card's name as Charlotte Linlin according to the rules. If anybody's interested, it is phrased identically to the Yamato from Romance Dawn. So in the same way that the Yamato from Romance Dawn also counts as Kazuki Oden, this also counts as Charlotte Linlin. Okay, fine, that makes sense. But that's it, no other skill. However, do remember that this is actually really important because we've got cards like Zeus that up to one of your Charlotte Linlin gains banish for the turn, and Prometheus that one of your Charlotte Linlin gains double attack for the turn. So those pair of cards from Starter Deck 7, they really boost up your Charlotte Linlin. So yeah, it's actually like really genuinely important. The fact that this is treated as Charlotte Linlin is a very big deal because we've got cards that make Linlin way better. Oh yeah, and this one's also got a trigger. I told you, the biggest trigger we've seen so far. This has a trigger whereby if you have one or fewer cards in your life area, you may play this card. So it's not an automatic play like we've seen from so many triggers in the past. And it's not a you must discard a card from your hand to play like we've seen from so many triggers in the past. This is if you got one or fewer life. Although remember, like, the whole gimmick of yellow decks is that they can take their own life, manipulate life. That's what yellow decks do. So if you really want to get to a stage where this is being played for free, you can take a bunch of your own life using yellow decks and actually get here pretty quickly. So that is quite important. And then you get to play this for free. And having a 7,000 power character is kind of ridiculous for free. But remember, I just showed you Zeus and Prometheus, so it's not really a 7,000 power character for free. If you got Zeus and Prometheus down, and in a Charlotte Linlin deck that should be something you're looking for, then you could potentially have a 7,000 power character with Banish and Double Attack just for free. This could be a game-ending card. Now, obviously, Double Attack gets rid of 2 life. It doesn't actually win you the game. You would need another attack coming in. But remember, like, the whole point is you take out a couple of your opponent's life, but then they get extra cards to their hand, gives them an advantage. But because you've got Banish, they don't get those cards to their hand, and any triggers they might have don't activate, and then all of a sudden, this looks way better. I cannot be the only person out there that really likes the idea of having a free 7,000 power character. But then again, I know there's a bunch of issues here, right? I know that if this isn't in your life, then actually it's kind of way more annoying because all of a sudden you've got a 7-cost 7,000 power character. And like, no, we could do better than that. Now, admittedly, it's still Charlotte Linlin, so you still get the buffs you would get from being Charlotte Linlin, but 7-cost 7,000 power isn't good. It's just not. What we really want is a power 2 more than your cost. That's what we generally see. I mean, if you're going to pay 7 costs for a Charlotte Linlin, you might as well go for the super rare from Starter Deck 7, that on play, your opponent has to either trash one of their life or give you an extra life. So yeah, that's that's quite a bit better and has an extra 1,000 power for what it's worth. So this is an awkward one, but then again, do remember yellow has a bunch of cards that can put the top card of your deck into the life. Like Charlotte Daifuku from Starter Deck 7, when attacking, you can add a card from the top or bottom of your life to your hand, and then place a card from the top of your deck at the top of your life. So this gives you more chances, essentially, to get this into your life. This is the kind of thing that yellow tends to do. When this works, it is absolutely phenomenal. The only question is how often you can get it working. Right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's over to you guys. I think these are 3 very good cards, but I want to know what you think, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and card games and all kinds of other fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.